Yo, what up, man? It's your boy, Baby here. Let me say this, man. The fight with Chisora is off. Chisora's a good dude. He wants to fight. I want to fight. The fight is off because this little piece of shit named Dimitri Salita, the dirtiest human being I've ever met in my entire life. And I've been around a lot of dirty motherfuckers. But Salita is the worst human being that's ever walked the planet. You know, this guy since I was 16 years old. Him and his dirty-ass lawyer, John Wirt, are compulsive liars. Now, my contract is up with him, but he's exercising his first and last right refusal and blatantly made up an entire story to try to get more money out of me. Basically extort me. This was basically what he did. And promoters are having it. They want me to fight, but do not want to do business with this guy. And I'm totally, how can I say? The Zone should be ashamed of himself working with a man like this. This guy absolutely does nothing for fighters. Nothing. All my fights that I've got negotiated with is all on my own behalf. He likes to use my name to solicit it to get other fighters to sign with him. Do not let him lie to you. Do not let Salita Promotions lie to you. Salita has not done jack shit for my career. All right? And the reason why I even signed with him was due to an old promotional contract, probably 11 years ago, that I did with my old trainer, Kelly Richardson. That's the only reason why. And ever since, I've been dealing with trying to get out and figuring out how to deal with this nonsense.
Now, those are the words of Jarrell Big Baby Miller. And, of course, we know he had some issues with Dimitri Salita. He expressed that in the days of reckoning, amongst other things, of course. And now he is supposed to be away from Dimitri Salita. And he's not fighting Derek Chisora because Dimitri Salita, to my understanding, wants a cut in. And let me counterpunch. I appreciate any fighter, any fighter, blowing the whistle on what goes on behind closed doors, behind the scenes, under the table, right? I have to give them 100% credit for doing that. Because a lot of fighters won't do that. They may call it integrity or whatever. No, some things and sometimes you have to tell someone and speak on the truth. Mike Tyson did it with Don King. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather did it with Bob Arum. You know, the list goes on. Chris Eubank Jr. recently did it with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, right? Right then while they were there. So I agree wholeheartedly about all of this stuff. However, I think what's good for the geese is good for the gander. And I mean it like this. If you sign with that man and you know he's exercising his first last right to refusal, that means he's obligated for one more fight. This kind of reminds me of Lawrence Akali and Eddie Hearn, which I didn't really cover that as much because, you know, I don't really cover Lawrence like that. You know, I mean, he doesn't really do enough, but he's been through a lot of legal issues with Eddie. So, you know, and Eddie's one of the biggest, you know, as they come right now, you know, him and Frank and, you know, those guys are the top, especially in the UK. Well, I look at the whole thing when you're dealing with, promotions. I think it would be worth him fighting Derek Chisora to give him one last payday, you know, instead of scrapping it all together. You know what I'm saying? And because if that's the case, you know, he has to figure out how to get away from Salita because he's been dealing with Salita a long time. Salita and Serafina, you know, that's been pretty much his team there, you know. And then mind you, it didn't help him when he got into that issue, you know, with some self-sabotage and stuff with the PEDs. So that didn't help at all either. You know, and then a lot of people really didn't want to work with him because of that. And then he had another issue right after that a year later. So, you know, he's just digging himself out of the funk. You know, so you have to keep that in mind. Like, hey, you know, I know Dimitri Salita, you know, may not be what you said or what you want him to be, but at the same time, he was probably there when you had no one else. You know what I mean? And now that people are actually looking for American talent, it's hard to get rid of him, but he has to sit down with someone that could help him out of the funk. Someone probably like Al Heyman. Yeah, someone like that, or someone that's going to give him some type of counsel, because if he and his team, his managers, his whatever, if they're not helping Jarrell Miller get the best legal counsel to get out of a bullshit contract like he's supposed to be in with Dimitri Salita, he should stop paying them. You know what I mean? And there has to be something somewhere. And again, we don't know all the facts. But what does it come down to? It comes down to the fact we won't be able to fucking see the fight. You know what I mean? Because either Jarrell's too proud to take a fight and to give or award money to Salita, even though he doesn't do shit. And I've always said that about promoters. They have the contracts. Matter of fact, they don't even have the contracts. The lawyers have the contracts. You see what I mean? Like, the promoters are there just for representation. You know what I mean? They're just like kind of stand-in agents, to so to speak. But they really don't do shit. They don't take any punches. They don't take any punishment. They're just there to say what the hell's going to be between the fighter that they're signed to and versus another fighter that they may be signed to, or some other promoter. That's pretty much it, right? So, yeah, Dimitri Salita probably doesn't do shit, but that's the name of the game. It's the sport that I love, that I hate so much. Right there. You know, but yeah, this is bad news, bro. Fights off with him and Derek Chisora because of Dimitri Salita. We don't really know all of the facts. But you guys tell me what you think of this drama with Jarrell Miller and his former promoter, Dimitri Salita. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.